am a social science teacher of Jafri and Fatima English School. Today we are going to continue our lesson number 1, Arrival of Europeans in India. Now last lecture we have studied that many years ago our country was one of the leading countries in the world. The people of various countries were being influenced by our culture and property. And for years, Arab traders used this land for their trade. However, due to a changed situation, trade via land route stopped. This increased the demand of Indian products like silk, cotton, muslin, spices like cloves, pepper, etc. in European countries. So, there was a need to discover a new sea route to India, and many adventurous sailors from European countries tried to find a new sea route to India. Out of them, the first was an Italian explorer, Columbus. He made an first attempt at finding the sea route to India in 1492. Started his journey to come to India, but coincidentally reached America. He considered himself to be discovered India throughout his life. So, the native inhabitant of that place where Columbus had reached is known as West Indies, and the people living there are known as Red Indians. Second was Vasco da Gama, who discovered a sea route to India. In 1498, Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, discovered the sea route to India. He went round the Cape of Good Hope, which is South Africa, and reached the port of Calicut, which is in India, on 22nd May 1498. After coming in India, he was permitted by the King Zamorin to undertake trade in India. So this was how Portuguese came in India, and within a span of 100 years, they had taken control over Mangalore, Cochin, Diu, Daman, Goa, Mumbai, and the island of Lanka. But slowly, they started moving towards Bengal. When Portuguese started trading Bengal, the Subedar of Bengal complained to Shah Jahan about Portuguese activities. Thus, the fort of Hooghly was demolished and the ships were burned as per the order of emperors. In this way, Portuguese rule came to an end. With the exception of Diu, Daman and Goa, these are the three places which was with Portuguese at the end. Diu, Daman and Goa. In the last lecture we have learned about Dutch. Dutch are the people of Holland. Now Holland is known as Netherlands. In 16th century, Dutch came to India for trading. They also established their trade centers in India. But meanwhile, the Britishers also arrived in India. The Dutch could not withstand the competition against the British and they have to leave India. In the previous video, we have learned about British East India Company, which was established in 1600 CE. This company belonged to merchants who wanted to increase their wealth by undertaking trade in India. William Hawkins was the first British to set foot in India. He met Jahangir but did not get permission to trade. Later on, it was Sir Thomas Rao who obtained permission to set up trade center at Surat, and trade has started for the first time in Surat itself. So, Sir Thomas Rao got the permission from Shah Jahan and Britishers were able to start their trade from Surat. Delhi went in the hands of Shah Jahan when William Hawkins came to India. Mughal Emperor Jahangir was ruling India from Delhi. But when Sir Thomas Rao came to India, Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan ruling India. So he gave the permission to trade in Surat. Shah Jahan gave permission to the British to carry out trade in Bengal. Now let's see which other European country. The French also came in India. They established the French East India Company in the year 1664 CE. The head of the French company was Joseph Francois Dupleix, who had a desire to expand the European rule in India. French established their factories in Surat, Machilipatnam and Pondicherry. He also began to cherish the ambition of a French empire in India, but not successful in selling the idea to his superior. So this arises a conflict between British and French East India Company. Finally, the Britishers emerged as a winner between the innumerable disputes with French. However, French retained their control over the trading centers of Pondicherry, Mahi and Chandranagar. You can see all these three on your screen. These were the places which was with French after the fight with Britishers. Just as Portuguese was interested in trading in Bengal, the Britishers also started trade in Bengal in 1651 CE on the bank of river Hooghly. Forts were garrisoned to protect their factories. Forts were secured with the army troops for the protection of their factories, and they got the permission from Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb to trade without paying taxes against annual payment. So, after Shah Jahan, Aurangzeb came to the throne of Delhi and he gave permission to Britishers to carry out tax-free trade. By this time, the East India Company was in a race to earn more and more profit. As per the order passed in Bengal, only the company availed the benefit. It was such that only British East India Company should benefit of a tax-free trade. But many officers who had their private trade, who were engaged in a private trade, did not pay the taxes as well. Slowly, it began to happen that many officers who were included in their private trade other than British East India Company, they had also stopped paying taxes. So as a result, the income generated from the tax collection in Bengal reduced. Same as we are paying tax to the government and government can give us civil facilities, will not pay the tax, the administration for the government will be very difficult. Without paying tax, it is impossible for any government to run the country. Income tax is the biggest source of income for any government. Same way, in ancient times, public has to give tax to the kings. There was a system to pay tax in ancient times also. So, the opposite of the British officers of not paying tax reduced the income of Bengal, and as I told, no king can run their administration without taxes. So it was opposed by Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan. And after that, the same conflict remained with Ali Vardi Khan. The dispute intensified first with Murshid Quli Khan, then after Ali Vardi Khan. After Ali Vardi Khan, his son Sirajud-Dowla took charge. He got involved into a major battle with the Britishers. He was knowing from the childhood that Britishers are not paying tax, so he had an overwhelming influence over the Britishers. He asked Britishers to pay tax and conflict worsened. Sirajud-Dowla became the Nawab of Bengal in 1756. He had an overwhelming influence over the British and was against them. The nomination as a Nawabship of Sirajud-Dowla aroused the jealousy among Mir Jafar. British were ordered to pay tax, and when they disobeyed the order, Sirajud-Dowla attacked their fort, defeated them and succeeded Britishers in expelling from Calcutta. After succeeding in escaping Britishers from Calcutta, Robert Clive was sent from Madras to retake Calcutta, and from there began plotting the overthrow of the Nawab. The British counter attacked the Nawab under the leadership of Robert Clive, who bribed Mir Jafar. The British helped the competitors of Sirajud-Dowla by conspiring against him so that he would not remain on the throne of Bengal. There were frequent conflicts with the British merchants regarding payment of taxes. When British merchants failed to pay taxes, which were applicable to both Indian and foreign merchants, because, as I told, no government can run without the income of taxes. So no king can rule their administration without the income of taxes. So it was applicable to both Indian and foreign businessmen to pay tax. But Britishers were not ready to pay tax. They attacked under the leadership of Robert Clive. Sirajud-Dowla was defeated and murdered due to this betrayal in the Battle of Plassey with Britishers. Clive bribed Mir Jafar, the commander-in-chief of Sirajud-Dowla, with the promise to confer the throne of Bengal to him and convinced him to join their side. Promise was done by the Britishers, by the Robert Clive, with Mir Jafar, that if he is getting defeated himself in this war, that was Battle of Plassey, then he can be a Nawab of Bengal. He can be our next Nawab of Bengal after Sirajud-Dowla. With his help, Robert Clive defeated and murdered Sirajud-Dowla in the Battle of Plassey. This was the first war fought by the company in India, which marked the ending of British rule in India. Thus, this war is considered to be the turning point in the history of India. Battle of Plassey was fought in 1757. The victory had cost the life of only 22 soldiers from the British side and many more from the side of Sirajud-Dowla, but Britishers, and while achieving a major victory towards British control of Bengal, after the Battle of Plassey, Mir Jafar is placed on the throne of Bengal as promised by the British, and British started emptying the treasury of Bengal. British were given the zamindari rights and also 2 crore rupees of present era were given as a war compensation to the Britishers. So this war marked to be the beginning of British rule in India. Battle of Buxar, as promised by the British, appointed Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal. Robert Clive also went back to England. With the passage of time, Mir Jafar became hostile towards the Britishers. the company decided to replace him with his son-in-law Mir Qasim because it was becoming more difficult for Mir Jafar to handle the government, to run the entire administration without the income of tax. The company replaced him with his son-in-law Mir Qasim. Mir Qasim was an efficient, disciplined and clever ruler. He was knowing the root cause of all the problems. The problem arose between Nawab and the company on the non-payment of tax. Mir Qasim opposed the Britishers for non-payment of tax, and this created a worse tension between British East India Company and Nawab of Bengal, Mir Qasim. The conflict ultimately brought both the forces face to face with each other. In 1763, Mir Qasim was defeated by the company, but he escaped. He managed to escape and he reorganized his army along with the forces of Nawab of Oudh, Shujauddaulah, Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Their combined forces met at the company force at Boxer in 1764. The forces clashed with the British and the result was British East India Company won the war. All of a sudden, Bengal, Awadh and Mughal Empire was under their control. Battle of Plassey was the major reason for the consolidation of British rule in India. Robert Clive was sent to India to take control of this situation. That's how the East India Company, a trading company, emerged as a political power in the subcontinent of India. So in this lesson we have learned that Indian commodities like silk, cotton clothes, muslin, black pepper, spices, etc. were in great demand in European countries. We have learned about Columbus, who was our first Italian explorer to make effort to discover new sea route to India. Second thing we have learned was about Vasco da Gama, the brave Portuguese sailor who discovered new sea route to India via Cape of Good Hope on 22nd May 1498. With the permission of King Zamorin, they established their fort in Calicut, Goa, Mangalore, Cochin, Diu, Daman and coast of Mumbai. Within a span of 100 years, they had taken control over many states. When Portuguese expanded their trade to Bengal, the Subedar of Bengal complained about Portuguese activity to Mughal Emperor Shah Jahan. As per the order of Emperor, the Hooghly fort was demolished and Portuguese ships were burned. In this way, Portuguese rule came to an end. We have also learned about the Dutch who came from Holland and could not withstand in competition with the Britishers. Next came to India was British East India Company, which was established in 1600 CE. William Hawkins was the first Britisher to set foot in India. but he did not get permission from Mughal Emperor Jahangir to trade. It was Sir Thomas Rao who gave permission to carry out trade in Surat to the Britishers. Later on, French also came in India with the establishment of French East India Company for trade purpose. They also established their factories in Surat, Machilipatnam and Pondicherry. Both the company, the British East India Company and French East India Company, want to retain their supremacy over India. So there was innumerable disputes between them. British started their trade in Bengal in 1651 on the bank of river Hooghly. At that time, Mughal Emperor Aurangzeb was ruling India from Delhi. They gave the permission to trade without paying tax against the annual payment to British East India Company. But later on, many British officials refused to pay tax. The permission was given only to British East India Company, but the officers who were indulged in private business also refused to pay tax, and slowly the income of Bengal started reducing. This was opposed by the Nawab of Bengal, Murshid Quli Khan. After Murshid Quli Khan, Ali Vardi Khan came as a Nawab of Bengal, but the same dispute was between them of the non-payment of tax. After Ali Vardi Khan, his son Sirajud-Dowla took charge. He had an overwhelming influence over the British. So he also asked Britishers to pay tax. When the British refuses, attacked to Britishers, and he was succeeded in expelling the British from Calcutta. Later on, British also attacked Sirajud-Dowla under the leadership of Robert Clive. Robert Clive bribed Mir Jafar. He has promised Mir Jafar, who was commander-in-chief of Sirajud-Dowla, that if he is getting defeated in this war, he will be the next Nawab of Bengal. So in Battle of Plassey, Mir Jafar helped Britishers and Sirajud-Dowla was defeated. This was the first war fought by the company in India, which marked the beginning of British rule in India. Thus this war, Battle of Plassey, is considered to be a turning point in the history of India. After the coming of Mir Jafar as the Nawab of Bengal, with the passage of time, same conflict arose between Britishers and the Mir Jafar. So the company decided to replace Mir Jafar with his son-in-law Mir Qasim, who was an efficient ruler. The problem arose between Nawab and company again on the same matter of non-payment of taxes, which brought both the forces together face to face. In 1763, Mir Qasim was defeated by the British East India Company, but he managed to escape. Again he joined the forces with Nawab of Oudh, Shujauddaulah and Mughal Emperor Shah Alam II. Both the force of Mir Qasim and force of Britishers met at Boxer in 1764. So this war is known as Battle of Boxer. The British East India Company won the war, and all of a sudden a major area of India was under the control of Britishers. That's how we have learned in this lesson that British East India Company came in India for trade, but slowly they emerged as a political power in the subcontinent of India. Lesson 2, in the next class, keep reading, keep learning.